Okay, students, better log in quickly, join quickly so that we can save our time. Okay, anyway, in our last class, we discussed about preliminaries of algorithms, right? Preliminaries of algorithm. So, in this class, I'll give you the detailed concept of algorithm and why we need a data structure and the algorithm analysis. That means it consists of different cases: best case, average case, and worst case. So I'll give you the detailed explanation of algorithm in today's class. Algorithm and its analysis. Okay, so basically is so data structure is my screen visible to everyone? Is my screen visible to everyone? Am I audible? Am I audible? Yes, thank you. Okay, data structure is a systematic way to organize data in order to use it efficiently. Already we know. So the first one, the characteristics of data structure is correctness, time complexity, space complexity. These are the characteristics of a data structure. First of all, the data structure is nothing but the combination of algorithm and program. Algorithm plus program is called a data structure. Algorithm plus data structure, the combination of algorithm and algorithm plus program is also called a data structure. Practically, you can say that. So see here, we're having three characteristics that a data structure can have. First one, correctness. So correctness means what? Data structure implementation should implement its interface correctly. So what is interface? User interface. User interface means, for example, we are having different types of operating system using in mobiles. So Android OS and Windows OS, BlackBerry, Apple OS. These are different operating systems that we are using in our mobile phones. But which one is friendly, user friendly, and which one is easily understandable to anyone or everyone? Which operating system is familiar to the customers or any illiterates, even illiterates? Which operating system easily you can understand? Tell me, I'm expecting reply from you. Which operating system is compatible to the customers easily? Android or BlackBerry or Apple? Which one? Android, good. 71, 79. Yes. So Android is familiar and easy. So if you see the Sony Ericsson mobile, so I think you may not see the Sony Ericsson mobile or Sony mobiles. So the operation of that mobile is little bit difficult when compared to the remaining phones like Samsung or Motorola. So even Windows phones are also maybe it having some secured applications, BlackBerry operating system and Apple. All these are having some different specifications. I'm not talking about specification, but the user interface, UI. If you design any app, that should be clear to the customer. So if you go to the if you install any app in a mobile, so if all the options are clearly visible, then you can easily go to that application and access that application easily. So the interface that was good. If the interface was good, the user can attract to that and he will refer to that and he will access the data easily. So here also the interface means like that. That is the platform, you can say that. So that is the interface. So interface is implemented correctly, otherwise we cannot use that. So that is the correctness of the data structure. These are characteristic, first characteristic. Second one is time complexity, and third one is space complexity. I'll talk about these two topics after a few minutes. So first let's discuss the need for the data structure. So an application are getting complex and data rich. There are three common problems that applications face nowadays. So for example, first one is data search, second one is processor speed, third one is multiple requests. So in the society present, we are searching for data. For what type of data we are searching, that is up to personal, but we are searching data. Here, consider an inventory of 1 million items of a store. So inventory means general store or a supermarket. For example, DMart, let us consider. So having 1 million of items of a store. So if the application is to search an item, it has to search an item in 1 million items every day, slowing down the search. As data grows, search will become slower, because if the items are 2 millions, automatically the processing time, data searching time is reduced. For example, if I'm having 1,000 number of products, for example, provisions, vegetables, handlooms, cloth showroom, steel items, stationery, all these are mixed. So if you want to buy a pen, so ultimately what it will do, it will search all the items, all the 1,000 products. But if you apply the data structure, so what is the meaning of a data structure? It will place the data in a efficient manner. That means what? Cloth material one place, stationery items one place, provisions one place, vegetables one place. So directly with the help of that point, we can directly search and we can directly retrieve the data. So that is why we need data structure. So as the data grows, search will become slower without a data structure. But if data structure is applied for our data, it is stored in a efficient manner. If any data is stored in a efficient manner, easily we can grab it and we can search it. That is one of the reason. So already I told you, just theoretically, but I am showing you here with the real example. Next, processor speed. Processor speed, although being very high, falls limited if the data grows to billion records. So the same thing. So the processor speed, which type of software that we are going to use, that processor speed also become reduced if the search is more. That is why we're all using data structure. Next one, multiple requests. As thousands of users can search data simultaneously on a web server, even the fast server fails while searching the data. So see, IRCTC website. It is a website for ticket booking all over India, all over the India. So in the Tatkal time, what is happening there? In Tatkal time, not in this situation. So in this lockdown period, no one is booking tickets maximum. But in the normal time days, so IRCTC Tatkal ticket booking, what is happening there? So ultimately, it is very difficult to get a ticket. So after booking a ticket in the payment section, it is getting failed. Why failed? Because more number of requests are coming to that server at a time. Thousands of requests are coming to that website. So whose data connection is in a stable state? The only that candidates getting the tickets. So that thing we know. But here what the thing is, ultimately sometimes it will not it will not enter into the website. Why? That means even that server also fails, because the network traffic is increasing more and more. In the roads also, like the roads also, in the server also, and the network also, there is a traffic. So if more number of requests are coming from the user, ultimately in the network also there will be a traffic. So for the traffic clearance will apply different techniques. So that is another issue, another topic that I don't want to talk about that. But this time I'm confining this to this one only. The multiple requests. If multiple requests are coming from the user at a simultaneously at a time, automatically the server also will fail. So, but what is the solution, sir? So on that same data we are applying here. If you separate our data, separate not only separation, just for the order. If you place the data in order, simply we can solve this data structure. So that is why the data structure come into rescue for all these problems. Data can be organized in a data structure in such a way that all items may not be required to be searched, and the required data can be searched almost instantly. So see, only the intended data. For example, based on that keyword, based on that request, we can search. If you want to search for a stationary item, so you will search only in the list of stationery only. If you want to search in a perfumes, in that list only we will search. So which type of perfume you want? So if you want a good morning or a royal, whatever it is, we can search on that thing only. How it is possible? With the help of data structure only. If we apply an algorithm and data structure, then it is possible to place the items like that. Otherwise, it is difficult. So that is why the data structure is coming to the situation. So one more thing is, if you want to if you want to solve a problem for a particular thing, you need to write an algorithm first of all. You need to write an algorithm first of all. For example, here see, algorithm is a step-by-step procedure which defines a set of instructions to be executed in a certain order to get the desired output. This is the algorithm definition, already I told you. So here I'm solving a particular problem. So that is what. So this is the program for addition of two numbers. Algorithm. This is the algorithm for. This is my problem statement for that problem. For this problem, I am writing an algorithm. So first step is, it is a step-by-step procedure. Already I told you here. See, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, like that. So first step is start, and then declare 3 integer variables because I want to add 2 variables, and the result will be stored in the third variable. That is why I'm taking A, B, and C. So define the values of A and B. So A value is how much and B value is how much. And then store the output of step 4 into C. Print C, stop. This is the algorithm. So next one, algorithm tells the programmer how to code the program. Alternatively, the algorithm can be written as like this. So if you write the algorithm, then the programmer will understand easily how to implement that program. The algorithm will help the programmer to write in a proper order. By writing the program, we can understand how the program is writing the algorithm. The programmer can understand clearly how it is working. Here see, programmer start and add and get the values of A and B. We will store the result in C and display the result in C. Then stop. It is the algorithm. So now coming to the analysis of algorithm, we are having two types of analysis. First one is priori analysis and second one is posterior analysis. Priori analysis and posterior analysis. These are the two algorithm analysis. So let me tell you this. Why we need analysis and what is analysis? After the conduction of classes, your college is going to provide you the attendance percentage. So how much classes you are attended, how much classes conducted in a percentage ratio. So if any student fails to attend the class, so he will be detained. So everything is based on the calculations and total college in total branches. They may analyze how much students are, how many students are detained and how many students are promoted. So and so different calculations and analysis are going on in the college. So here in the algorithm, what is the analysis here? So here the analysis means uh, just simply measuring the performance of an algorithm. Measuring the performance of an algorithm. So for the particular problem, if I want to write an algorithm for multiplication of three numbers, for example, or two numbers. So after the multiplication of two numbers algorithm writing, so I'll implement that algorithm in a program. So I'll write a program for based on that algorithm. So already I shown you the addition of two. Let us consider the addition of two numbers algorithm only. So after the writing of my algorithm, the same thing I'll apply onto the program. So I'll already I wrote a program for the two numbers, addition of two numbers. Language is anything, C or C++. We don't bother about it. So maybe, for example, C language or any language. So program writing also completed. So program also executed. But the thing here is the algorithm analysis. Algorithm analysis is dependent on two major factors. That is called time complexity and space complexity. These two topics are very, very, very important. Time and space complexity, both are the very, very important concept. These are also important for competitive exams and GATE exam. So in your syllabus, only basic concept is given, but I'll try to give you the clear explanation so that you can understand very easily. But after the semesters, next semesters, you will have a clear syllabus on these time and space complexities. There is a subject called design analysis and algorithms. So in that subject, you learn clearly about this. So here, algorithm analysis is based on two techniques, two types, not only types, two things. First one is time complexity and second one is space complexity. So in this, we'll discuss what is time complexity and what is space complexity. So here, all these are coming under priori analysis and posteriori analysis. Priori analysis means a theoretical analysis of an algorithm. So all these time and space complexity are coming under priori and posteriori. These two are coming under these two. Priori analysis tells us it is a theoretical analysis of an algorithm. By writing a pen and paper method, we can write the algorithm. So efficiency of an algorithm is measured by assuming that all the other factors, for example, processor speed and constants that have no effect on the implementation. So based on the processor speed, by using the pen and paper method, we can theoretically analyze the algorithm. That is called priori analysis. Next one is posterior analysis. So it is an empirical analysis of an algorithm. The selected algorithm is implemented using programming language. That is means it is practical. It depends on the execution of the program. Executed on target computer machine. In this analysis, actual statistics like running time and space required are collected. In this, the practical analysis, it is a practical analysis. After the execution of the program, we can analyze. So generally, an algorithm is in top down and bottom up approach. Already we know. Top down means we know about top down approach and bottom up approach. In that way also we can determine that top down approach and bottom up approach. That is also correct. That's not a problem. Top down approach means from the it starts dividing the complex algorithm into one or more modules. Complex algorithm means difficult or major, big problem into smaller modules. So we'll apply the techniques on that smaller module, each and every module. That means if I give you addition of 10 numbers, so addition of 10 numbers is a complex problem. Simply I can break or I can divide the 10 numbers into two parts. 5 numbers one part, 5 numbers second part. So first of all, I'll add the first 5 numbers and the result will be added into the second 5 numbers. Separately, I'll add two parts and after that I'll combine the total number. That is the way in top-down approach. So there are different approaches to design an algorithm. These are the two approaches: top-down approach or bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach means just the reverse of the top-down approach. In the bottom-up approach, we start the designing with basic modules, small modules. After small module, we'll go to the higher level module. That is the bottom-up approach. These two approaches are designing an algorithm. While designing an algorithm, these two approaches are used. Okay, now coming to the algorithm analysis, we are having two types, that is time complexity and space complexity. So first let us discuss time complexity. So time complexity of an algorithm represents the amount of time required by the algorithm to run completion. Time complexity of an algorithm represents the amount of time required by the algorithm to run completion. Time requirements can be defined as a numerical function T of n, where T of n can be measured as a number of steps, provided each step consumes constant time. So I'll try to give you the real example so that you can clearly understand. So algorithm analysis depends on two things. First one is time complexity, and second one is space complexity. So first let's discuss about time complexity. Time complexity means, for example, if I write a program, for example, I'm writing a program for I equals to 0. Directly I'm writing for I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. This is my loop here. Just I'm writing one statement. Maybe it is a printf or scanf, that is secondary. One statement I'm writing. Just closed my loop here. So here what is happening there? I'm writing a loop. Okay, let me write complete program so that you can understand clearly. Swapping of two numbers. I'm writing a program for swapping of two numbers. Swapping of two numbers, I'm writing a program. So see here, swap of A comma B, for example. Okay, so I'm taking temp equals to A equals to B equals to temp. So this is the logic for swapping it. So I'm writing the program for swapping of A value. So for example, if A value is 5 and B value is 10, so B value is going to store in A and A value is going to store in B. That thing we know. So this is the program for swapping two numbers. So I'm writing program. Already I finished writing my program. Here, the time complexity tells us the time taken to complete the execution of the program. I'll tell you clearly. For example, if you want to go to Vijayawada, so by walk, how much time it will take to reach Vijayawada from Elur to Vijayawada? Just roughly I'm asking. By walk, how much time it will take to reach Vijayawada from Eluru? Nearly 60 kilometers. Let us consider Vijayawada from the distance between Eluru to Vijayawada is 60 kilometers, for example. So how much time it will take in the hours? You can tell roughly. Roughly, yeah, 6 hours, more than 8 hours, maybe. So okay, it takes 10 hours, for example. Okay, it takes 10 hours time by walk. That's good. Okay, if you take bicycle, how much time it will take? Okay, maybe for 10 hours we will fix by walk. By walk, it will take 10 hours. By bicycle, it will take maybe 8 hours. Okay, by bike, how much time? By bike for a normal speed, 60 kilometer speed. Maybe 2 hours. Good. Okay. So that means after starting in Eluru to Vijayawada, after finishing Vijayawada, you are taking different times. Okay. So if you take one thing, it is giving us one time, and after that it is giving us, if it is a bike, if it is a car, if it is a bicycle, different timings we are taking. So here also the time complexity tells us the time taken to finish or to execute the program is called time complexity. So here swap a comma b, so temp a equals to b equals to temp. So here only I'm having 3 lines. Here I'm having 3 lines of code. Three lines of code. So for every line, there is 1 unit. So this is the one line. So this is 1 line, 1 unit, 1 line, 1 unit, 1 line, 1 unit. So for every how much lines we are written, that is secondary. So for 1 line, it takes 1 unit amount of time. 1 unit amount of time. So I'm not telling in seconds or minutes, whatever it is. Just I'm telling it takes 1 unit amount of time for one line. For every line, 1 unit amount of time. Total how many here? Only 3 lines. So this is the closing brace. So we are having 3 units. So now we can represent it takes 3 units amount of time to finish the program. So in this thing, we can represent in 3 variants. That is called worst case, next average case, next best case. That's why I told you Vijayawada to Eluru to Vijayawada example. So if you take bicycle or walk, you can take more than 10 hours. That is the worst case analysis. That is the worst case. So that means it takes much time to execute the program from the starting to the ending. Then, so this is the bicycle or walking. So in examination, don't write bicycle or walking Eluru to Vijayawada. Just for your simple understanding, I'm telling the real examples. I want to make the subject easy. for the student. In that sake only I'm telling like this. So then just I'm after telling the real examples, I'm giving you technical examples also. So maybe some students will follow like this. Okay. Anyway, just keep the concept in your mind and you follow the technical terminology only, because we are the CSC professionals. So we should not write the general language. Okay. Anyway, so that is the worst case analysis. So that means it takes more time. So here also average case. For example, average case bike or a two-wheeler. Next one, best case, maybe car. Okay. So car takes here only 1 hour. So that is the best case analysis. This is the average case analysis, and this is the worst case analysis. The time complexity of an algorithm is basically the time. It is the time taken for finishing the program or execution of the program. Running time of a program as a function of the input, and it will become and it will give the output. So in best case running time, it is used to analyze the algorithm under optimal conditions. So what is the optimal condition? Optimal means what? The best thing. So if we have four choices, so all of them you join in CSC. So CSC is the best thing for you. That is why you joined in CSC. So if we have 5 offers or 5 ways, among the 5 ways, if we choose the best one, we won't know how to choose the best one. In that case, we can apply the optimal solutions. So optimal solution is the best solution. Best, chief and best. In one word, we can say best solution. So that is the in such type of categories, we can use the best case running time. So here, the amount of time taken to finish the program is here 3 units. So it is the constant value, but in the system we can represent the thing as order of order of 1. Any numeric value we can treat it as order of 1. All these are the constant values. If it is an order of n number of times, we can represent it as order of n. So the letter it is called as O. So there are having asymptotic notations concept. Asymptotic notation concept. So in that space complexity, having 3 cases: worst case analysis, average case analysis, best case analysis. The time complexity we can analyze in 3 ways. That means best case analysis, worst case analysis, and average case analysis. So worst case analysis denotes the behavior of an algorithm with respect to the worst possible case of the input instance. So the worst case running time of an algorithm is an upper bound on the running time for the input. So this is the worst case algorithm analysis means very slow performance. That means, for example, order of n log n, or otherwise order of n into n log n, or order of n power 4. Or n cube. So this is the worst case analysis. So by numerically we can understand this value 3 units amount of time, but in the system we can represent in the form of asymptotic notations. We are having different types of asymptotic notations. These are called big O, big O, big O notation. So this is represented as O. After that, omega. So omega notation. So already you know the symbol of omega. So omega notation. After that, theta, theta notation. So these are the majorly 3 types of notations. In the form of these 3 notations, we can represent the time complexity or the time taken to accomplish the given task for the machine is called a time complexity. In time complexity, we can analyze in 3 different techniques. That is worst case, average case, best case. So for example, average case means order of log n, order of n log n otherwise. So this is the average case. So for every, if it is a searching or a sorting, for every operation, we are having time complexity. So that depends on different factors. So next one, space complexity. That is also same. Space complexity means the amount of time, the amount of space to store the algorithm is called as space complexity. So it will depend on different situations. The amount of space required to store for an algorithm is called space complexity. So space complexity means with respect to the space. See here. So this is denoted as time complexity is denoted as T of n, n number of requests. So if we takes the time C into n, we can represent as T time complexity of n equals to so and so. So this is the space complexity. Space complexity of an algorithm represents the amount of memory space required by the algorithm in its life cycle. That is called space complexity. The space required by an algorithm is equals to the sum of the following 2 components. That is space complexity. For example, see here, the space complexity of an algorithm P is space complexity of P equals to C plus SP, where C is the fixed part and S is the variable part of the algorithm, which depends on the variables declared in our program. So just what we have declared in our program or algorithm, if it is an integer data type, the space is different. If it is an float data type, it is different. Based on the data type and variables only, the space is changing. But if it is, see the example, sum of 2 numbers A and B. So start the algorithm. So here we are adding A and B with constant also. C is the constant value. That is why C we are storing A and B plus constant value. So all these values stored into value C. So this is the space complexity. So space complexity here, how many variables are there? 3 variables and constant. So for all three variables are integers. If they are integers, it will require 2 bytes of space for a 16-bit compiler. It is different based on the compiler. So nowadays different compilers are coming. So based on the compiler only, we can fix the size of the data types. So these are the time and space complexity. The asymptotic notations are usually, so asymptotic notations are not in your concept and in your syllabus. Just for sake of time and space complexity, I'm telling you. So usually the time required by an algorithm falls under three types. First one is best case, average, worst. So best case means minimum time required for the program execution. Minimum time. That means car method. From by using car, we can reach Vijayawada with a short amount of time, minimum amount of time. That is the best case. The average time required for a program execution. That means by a two-wheeler. Two-wheeler means bike or some scooter. Next, worst case analysis. Maximum time required for program execution. So this is called walking and bicycle. So no other way, no maximum. To reach from Melur to Vijayawada, there is no maximum than bicycle or walking. So that is the maximum time required for program execution. That is called worst case. But in the programming, always we will not prefer worst case, but in sometimes based on the program, if the algorithm is not written properly, will fall under the worst case. So always the programmer will try to do in best case only or average case. So these are the asymptotic notations commonly used to calculate the running time complexity of an algorithm. So this is the notation omega, big O notation. This is the first notation, big O, that means O. After that, this is omega notation. Omega means already you are using in your mathematics. So the mathematics is very, very useful to represent these notations. That is the correct method to represent the time and space complexities. So that is why mathematics will link to the computer science sometimes. So see here, this is the theta notation. So all these are the different notations to represent our time and space. So we can represent the notations like this. So these notations are not required for you because it is not in your syllabus. Just for understanding purpose, I'm telling. So if it is a omega, it will be represent like this. If it is a theta, theta of, see here, order of 1, order of log n, order of n, n log n, order of n log n, order of n square, order of n cube, order of 1, order of n. These are the different asymptotic notations that we are using in algorithms and data structure. If you talk about data structure, it should be included in algorithm. Algorithm tells the way to execute the program. So the programmer can easily understand the implementation part with the help of the algorithm. So these are the worst case, best case, and average case time complexities. So I'll show you the syllabus so that you can clearly get the thing. So preliminaries of algorithms and time and space complexity. The time and space complexity is coming under three types. So those three types we discussed already. So this is the time and space complexity. Majorly, the time and space complexity is the analysis of an algorithm. So the preliminaries of algorithms, already I shown you the different top-down and bottom-up approach. So top-down is nothing but dividing the complex problem into smaller problem. So for each smaller problem, we can apply the techniques and we'll solve. Finally, we can compute all the result, total result. So next class, I'll explain you the searching, total entire searching concept, searching and after that sorting. So there are two types of searching techniques. In the coming class, I'll explain you the searching technique. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can leave. Already the time is over, close to over.